Televised sports is the best way overall to promote a certain sport. Whether you're a casual viewer or a diehard fan, you can enjoy your favorite sport on a Sunday afternoon after church, after the restaurant that you go to, after a round of golf, or just during an afternoon nap. And all kinds of sports have had a ton of success by being aired on the biggest TV networks in the country and around the world. But bowling over the last 30 years has really struggled to make an impact on national TV, and its viewership has definitely suffered from it, and bowling has lost respect over the years. And with the PBA losing one of its most recent best deals with Fox, it now is going to be striking a new TV deal starting in 2026, making the PBA Tour and bowling in general's future in the public eye a bit uncertain. What's up, people of YouTube? I'm Karsatowski, and welcome back to the Karsatowski Bowling YouTube channel. And today, I'm going to give my thoughts about why the PBA has struggled to get on to national TV. So to start, the PBA on TV goes back prior to most sports have been on TV. The PBA technically started on ABC Sports, I believe, back in 1962 or 1963, and ABC has been the host of many classic title matches, and that's where we got to see bowlers like Dick Weber and Don Johnson, two of the first dominant bowlers in the early stages of the PBA, really set the mark and entertain people around the world, even though a lot of people watching them weren't true diehard bowlers. And then came Earl Anthony and Mark Roth, and they became the most dominant bowlers during that time, winning 34 and 43 titles apiece. Bowlers would tune into their TVs and they would watch Earl Anthony and Mark Roth battle it out on TV seemingly almost every other week. Then future legends of the game, Norm Duke, Parker Bone III, Walter A. Williams Jr., and Pete Weber would start making television appearances and battling against each other, and each having their own success on the tour. But in 1997, the PBA had its final PBA telecast in June of that year, and then they would be switching from the long partnership from ABC to ESPN. And ESPN would pretty much be the main partner for the PBA Tour, really from 1997 until about 2018. And I do admit that ESPN is not as widely viewed as something like ABC or some other sports networks, and I kind of feel like ESPN didn't really do a great job of promoting bowling in general. I almost kind of feel like that it's more or less a stale network compared to something like ABC or Fox or something like that. But the PBA was on ESPN for quite a few years. I mean, they were on there for 21 years. So they did do some things right to keep bowling on their network for as long as they did. But still, I feel like that ESPN was a bit of a downgrade, especially compared to ABC. And you can definitely tell that bowling numbers have definitely taken a hit during that time. Pretty much about the only thing that was keeping bowling alive during that time was Pete Weber's antics in the 2000s, because the PBA was not in very good shape in the 2000s. Its viewership obviously dropped, and interest in bowling was just at an all-time low during that time. And then during ESPN's run, even through now, the PBA would host some events on CBS Sports Network. Like primarily in the 2010s, they would have the PBA Tour Finals, an event that started in 2017, and they would also have the US Open on CBS Sports Network as well. And also, that's where the PWBA had a lot of their stepladder finals as well. So you can tune into a lot of PWBA action on CBS Sports Network. And CBS Sports Network was pretty cool. Again, it kind of felt like a side program. It wasn't like a huge sports program at all for bowling, and it just didn't do a ton to promote the sport either. So CBS was a lot like ESPN in that neither one of them were really great to promote the sport of bowling, but both of them definitely did their due diligence, and I would not consider either one of them a terrible partnership overall. I just feel like they could have done a little bit better. And then in 2019, the biggest thing to ever happen to the PBA since 1997 is that they struck a deal with Fox Sports. And Fox is one of the largest, if not the largest, sports network on TV. And they had that partnership from 2019 until 2025. So pretty much about a 6-year run for that. And they did do a lot to promote the sport of bowling. But at the same time, though, there was some aspects about it that I feel like that bowling was sidelined a little bit. Like Fox, I don't know too much about Fox Sports in general, but they have different networks like FS1 and FS2. I believe that bowling started on FS2 and it ended up going to FS1, and I don't believe that it ever got onto the main Fox Sports channel as far as I'm aware of. But Fox definitely was the overall best network that the PBA has ever had for national bowling promotion on TV, really ever since the ABC deal fell through. Now, the PBA would also start their own live streaming channels. They started Extra Frame in the early 2010s, and that was more or less a way to feature the match play and the cashers round portions and qualifying in certain PBA events during the week, and then it would basically give behind the scenes look on PBA events, and also there would be some PBA national events that would be streamed exclusively on Extra Frame. And I really like this move because before you weren't able to watch any bit of qualifying, match play, or cashers round at all in a PBA event. For decades, all you can see is the step ladder finals of an event. So Extra Frame would end up going to something called Flow Bowling and then Bowl TV. I'm not going to get into a lot of that, but live streaming service definitely still exists. I do think it's a bit overpriced and I don't pay for it, but those definitely still exist, and I think they're definitely great additions for the PBA. The only thing I will say about Bowl TV, though, is for a couple years, it seems like that Bowl TV has been taking the spotlight away from nationally televised events. Like, I remember in 2023, there were a lot of national bowling events that were broadcast on Bowl TV instead of on Fox Sports, and a lot of people took notice of this, and a lot of people complained that they had to pay like $60, probably not $60 a month, but it sure felt like $60 a month to be able to watch an event on a streaming platform when it could have been free on a national bowling network. So that definitely took a hit there pretty much. But I am glad that the live streaming services exist, and they definitely do give a good behind the scenes look at certain parts of a tournament that we otherwise will not get to see on a national sports network. Also, at the end of this year of 2025, the PBA announced that they could not make a new deal with Fox Sports, unfortunately. But for 2026, the PBA was going to go to the CW. Now, I don't know too much about the CW myself, but it is a pretty notable network for sports, and it's just going to be a different experience. So we're going to have to wait until 2026 to really see about what that is going to come up with the future of bowling. And that is pretty much a brief history of the bowling on national TV. So why do I think the PBA has struggled to be on national TV? Well, there are a few reasons as to why that's so. I think one of the reasons is because a lot of people just don't really respect bowling enough to be able to watch it on television. Like, I remember going into some restaurants with a bunch of TVs up, like a Roosters or a Buffalo Wild Wings or something like that, and bowling would be on, and I'd be sitting there watching it, and there'd be a couple guys at the bar, and then they're watching bowling up there, and they're like, hey, go ahead and turn that off, turn it to football or something like that. Which, if you guys don't know me personally, then you do not know my utter hatred for diehard football fans. Like, I think football in general is one of the main reasons why bowling is nowhere near as popular as it should be today, but that's a topic for another day. It just boils my blood about diehard football fans and being around them. But anyway, so my point is that a lot of the casual viewers just don't really respect bowling, and they'd rather watch something else. And that leads me to my main point, is that when the PBA was on ABC Sports Network, was one of only a handful of channels on TV during that time. So when you would tune in to bowling on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon, it'd be bowling, football, something else, and something else, and that's it for basically a whole 2-hour segment. So you didn't have a lot of options during that time. But the dawn of cable in the 2000s and streaming now in the 2020s has basically given rise to literal hundreds and thousands of channels to watch 24/7. So you could watch anything and everything just with the click of a button. And since bowling isn't one of the only 3 to 5 things on anymore, it's now one of a few hundred to few thousand. It's got much more competition in the last 20 to 25 years than at any point in its history. So people just kind of forget about it, and again, would rather watch something more exciting. So I think the best thing that we as bowlers should do at this point is really just promote the sport of bowling even more, promote it more on social media, and definitely have it more on national networks. And that is really going to be the best way for bowling to grow and for bowling to be a mainstay on a national TV. But those are my thoughts about bowling struggling to be on national TV. What do you guys think in the comment section below? Do you agree with a lot of my stuff? Do you not agree? Do you have something to say that I haven't said in this video? If do, just leave a comment. Also, for those of you who have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe so you'll never miss any videos just like this. So I'm Karsatowski, keep watching my content, and I'll see you in that next video. See ya!